The issues that are a little clearer to me, and issues that I have weighed in every single time on, are issues about when jurisdictions come to us and ask us to make a change, often after a community process, sometimes not in compliance with that community process. We saw that in San Diego, and we've seen that in other places. Asking us to make a change, and that change really has broader implications. And I worry about that entire ridgeline. If you look at the graphics that are provided to us by both the proponents and the opponents, this is a very large project. And it will dominate the viewshed. Anybody looking at this through those graphics, you can see how much it will dominate the viewshed. It will overshadow the casino. It will overshadow anything else on that ridge. As a standalone project, that may be or may not be something that's acceptable. But there was also somebody talked about Casa del Rey, which was up coast a little bit actually to the west here, since Santa Cruz runs east and west. That structure was destroyed a while ago, as if that were the standard. There was a time when there were very large hotels along this area. That is not the case now. And if the vision is to start to have a series of large properties along that entire ridge, that would be a dramatic change to that entire ridge. The city said that's not where they're going. This is one project. But as we've seen time and time again, when we make a decision, that decision comes back to us 5 years, 10 years, or even less. A new project will say, look what you did here. You must allow me now to take this step. If that's the case, I think the community should and the city should take a look at that entire ridge line and tell us what's going to or what's supposed to happen there or not along that area. What happens if all of those properties, as they turn over, then need or meet the newer height limit or ask for that higher limit? That might be acceptable. It might not. That's not what's before us today, but that is definitely a consequence that I think this commission needs to pay attention to. The project, as I said, I think is a great project, but I don't think it needs to be built as large as it is, and I honestly don't think it needs the LCP amendment to be the vital economic keystone that has been talked about in this beach area. The city has a lot of projects that it's moving forward on that are going to revitalize and change this area over time. And I caution us because as we look up and down this entire coast, what is that lens that we're applying to this section of the coast and to any other section of the coast that we're trying to make sure is done responsibly and reasonably, that doesn't have unintended consequences or consequences where we're then feeling years later, or a future commission is feeling obligated then to make a change because it's being done sort of one piece at a time. Piecemealing is one thing that's come up in contexts where and jurisdiction has brought something to us, and we have seen there's clearly more components to it, but we've only seen one piece or another. That is something that worries me here. The other aspect of it, and it really wasn't talked about or very much at all in the presentation today, but something that worries me is the permanent alteration of a physical landform. There's going to be 8,000 cubic yards of excavation on this site in order to build a garage. And I understand why, and I understand the need for that in this area, but is that something that this commission says is good for the coast? Is that an appropriate use of coastal resources? Especially, and if you look at maps or if you've gone down to that area, just a few doors down are huge parking areas that are owned by the same owner. I'm wondering if there couldn't be less alteration of the landform in order to put an economically viable project that's there. So I would think that the city's done a pretty good job articulating the needs there. I think the city's done a very good job putting together and implementing the South Laurel Beach plan that's there, but I just don't see, as I look at this, the need for the LCP amendment. I think a project like this can be done within the framework that's already there.